Today we have a very special episode. Today we're talking not specifically about BMWs, although that can definitely benefit from this, but we're talking about all cars, general knowledge, and that is polishing your plastic headlight housings. Now over time, headlight housings can become very cloudy, yellowed out due to the sun, due to salt, due to debris, and anything else that's coming onto those headlights can definitely create a yellow over haze. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sand that plastic down and we're going to buff it back up and give it that original shine so that you can get much better light output out of your existing OEM headlight lenses for any car. In this case, we're dealing with a Toyota Corolla. That's right, very, very common to have the headlights yellow out and fade and cloud up over time. Here we got some salt on this, so it's a little bit worse than it looks, but we're going to be cleaning it, sanding it, and polishing it back up. Now what we've got here is some soapy, warm water with various grits of sandpaper. We're starting off with 1500 grit, and then we're gonna end up working our way up to 2000 grit, and then 3000 grit, and that's how we're going to end up getting that really rough texture on the headlight and before we start doing the polish. Now when we do our polish, we're gonna be using a 3M Perfect It kit, which it includes the first round of rubbing compound first, and then you go to the polish. This is like a rough polish, and then you go to the fine polish. And this is a color-coded system. It goes white, black, blue. It is primarily reserved for paint, but we're gonna be using it for the headlight because I think that the same principle will exist. And I'm thinking that the overall end result will be just as good, and it might even be better. We're gonna be using a 7-inch polishing setup here that's going to end up basically changing the variable speed based on whether we're going to be doing stage 1, 2, or 3, stage 1, 2, or 3. And but before we do any of that, guys, let's assess the actual car. So here is a 2003 Toyota Corolla. It's been through the mill and there's a lot of wear on these headlights in particular. There's a lot of salt on here, so we'll clean this up, but it won't make much of a difference in terms of the way that it looks. This thing really requires a good polish up. What we want to first do is clean these up really good. We want to take all the salts off because when we sand, we want to make sure that we're not grinding any of the salts and dirt that you see, look at my hand, into the paint. That's not good. So what we need to do is literally clean the entire headlight first before we polish.
After you clean, you want to start sanding with 1000 or 1500 depending on how bad the headlight is, and really sand that first layer, so much so that your hands start to bleed. Then you move to 2000, then 3000, then you're ready for polish.
Now that we have this polished up to 3000 grit, it is a nice even sheen with no deep gouges that you can see that are perceptible. Now it's time for the fun stuff, and that is the polishing back up. We're gonna use that rough compound that's gonna bring that shine back, but it's not until that fine and ultra fine polish that it's gonna look like a brand new headlight again, and then you can actually get some nice light output. I'm just really very impressed about how this all came out. I mean, it's probably hard to see, but in person it looks near perfect condition. For a 17-year-old headlight assembly, there's a couple of different areas here on the back side of the glass that you just can't get. But there is no clouding whatsoever. Now this car is my father-in-law's car, and he drives it back and forth about an hour and a half almost every day in order to watch our kids while I work and my wife works. But what's so important is to have good light output. And that's why I wanted to do this for him, is to make sure that he had good light output out of his headlight lenses in the winter. So let's take a look at the light output differences between the new headlight and the old non-polished version, and let's just compare to see if his light output will be better at night when he's driving home. Looking outside, you can see the driver's side headlights beam and the passenger headlights beam. What a major difference this is in terms of the clarity and the amount of light that you can see on the highway, dark, and it's just really nice to have good, clean lighting. Now let's take a look at the front here. Obviously that is the old headlight there, still cloudy. And this is the new headlight. It's probably hard to see in this light the difference between the two, but if you're looking at it in person, it's definitely a much noticeable difference when you're looking at this clear headlight lens as opposed to this. But wow, what a difference the output is. Wow. Now that this headlight is done, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to finish the other one and I will show you what the final product looks like after all is said and done. So that's it, guys. The entire bill of materials and the process will be down in the description of the video if you guys really wanted to try doing this for yourselves. The perfected system is actually quite expensive and it's meant for car bodies like paint and clear coat, but you can certainly and obviously use it for headlights at your leisure as long as you follow the process that I outlined below. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I'm out of here, guys. Later.